So let's look at a few more examples, slightly different from the ones that we've done earlier. So we have x minus 3 is negative 3x minus 5. Remember, that's a linear equation because the highest power of x is 1. Before you start solving for x, and part of the process is simplifying the expression completely. We've seen examples where we simplified the left side completely and then started solving the equation. But notice here that there are x's on both sides of the equation. So what's our goal? To get x by itself on one side and all the constants or numbers on one side, so that way we can solve for x. So left side is simplified completely, right side is simplified completely. However, we have x's on both sides. So our goal is first to bring all the x's to one side. And it doesn't matter which side, but let's collect all the x's on the left, which means we keep the x here on the left. At some point, we have to get rid of the minus 3, but let's first bring this x, get rid of it from the right side and move it to the left. And what does that mean? Don't touch anything else. Remember that the x on the right side has to go. And how do we get rid of it? Negative 3x. The only way to do that would be by adding the opposite. So that way, negative 3x plus 3x becomes 0, which means we got rid of the negative 3x on the right. But we have to do the exact same thing, which means add 3x on the left. Okay, so let's see what we get. We have plus x plus 3x, which is plus 4x, minus 3 equals, and remember this became a 0, we don't need to do anything there. We are left with a negative 5. Be careful with the signs, it's not a 5, it's a negative 5. Now, notice that there's only one x term and we have to solve for x. How do we do that? Get rid of the negative 3 on the right by doing the opposite, adding the 3 on both sides. So we have 4x equals, this becomes a 0. Negative 3 plus 3 becomes a 0. Negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2. Now finally, 4 is multiplied to x. So how do we get rid of the 4 and get x by itself? Remember, that's our goal. 4x divided by 4. If 4 is multiplied to x, the opposite would be, I'm sorry, that's not a 4x. The opposite would be to divide by the 4. So that way 4 over 4 becomes a 1. 1 times x is an x. But do the exact same thing on the right side. Whatever you do on the left, do the exact same thing on the right. So we have x equals, and when we simplify, we don't need a calculator for this. 2 goes 2 times into 4. So 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4, or use your calculator and get x equals negative half. Let's double check. We needed to get rid of the 3x, negative 3x on the left. So we added the 3x. Remember, you cannot have multiple x terms. It has to be a single x term on one side. And we preferred to put the x's on the left. So I got rid of the x term here by adding a 3x, which gave us a 4x. 4x minus 3 is negative 5. We got rid of the negative 3 by adding the 3 on both sides. Negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2. And then we got the 4x equals negative 2, divided both sides by the 4 and got x equals negative half. Now we have a similar problem, slightly more complicated. Let me just double check. There are 2 equal to signs in this. I'm sure I copied this wrong. Okay, so let's get rid of this. So we have the equation, and this is the equal to sign. Okay, so we have y terms on the left, on the right, all over the place. So let's do one thing at a time. Simplify each side completely first. That would be the best approach. We do not want too many terms all over the place. Let's just simplify the left side. And what do we mean by that? There are multiple y terms in the parentheses, so we need to use the distributive property and simplify. 2 times y, so this, remember, it's a positive, so that's just 2y plus 2 multiplied together, because remember this multiplication, we are using the distributive property. 2 times 2 is 4. Notice that this is a -2. Always remember, multiply with a -2. -2 times 2y, that's our first term, is negative. 2 times 2 is 4y. -2 times -1 is +2. Be extremely careful with the negative signs. And that's 1 minus 3y. Now, we've still not simplified the left side completely, because notice that there are 2 y terms. 2y and then -4y. 2y minus 4y is -2y. Combine the constants. These are called constants. 4 plus 2 is 6 equals 1 minus 3y. We've simplified the left side completely. The right side is simplified completely. Now we have to think about it. We need to combine all the y's, and all the y's should be on one side of the equation. So let's put all the y's on the left side. It doesn't matter which side, but we just choose one side. I need to get rid of the -3y on the right and move it to the left. And how do we do that? -3y plus 3y. So add 3y on both sides of the equation. So -3y plus 3y becomes a 0. So you get rid of it on the right. You're left with a 1. That's what we have on the right. And then -2y plus 3y is just a y. So y plus, and then there's a 6 equals 1. Every term has to be accounted for. So -2y plus 3y is a y plus 6 equals a 1. Now remember, the goal is to get y by itself. That's what solving for y means. So subtract the 6 on both sides. So you have -6 plus 6 equals 0. So that's how it disappears. And you have the y equals 1 minus 6. And that is equal to -5. Your answer is y equals -5. Now we have another equation very similar. Remember, simplify both sides completely first, which means combine all the x terms, combine all the constants. Constants are terms that don't have the x on both sides, and then try to solve the equation. So -0.11x plus. So it's a positive. 0.12 is multiplied with 8,000. So let's use the calculator. 0.12 times 8,000, and that's equal to 960 minus, because this is a minus, times plus is a minus, 0.12x, and that's equal to 930. Next, we have to combine 0.11x minus 0.12x, and that's equal to 0. And that should be a negative 0.01x plus 960. So combine all the x terms, and that's what I mean when I say simplify completely. Combine all the x terms, combine all the numbers on both sides. So this is what we have now. Next, we subtract 960 on both sides. Do the subtraction or addition first. Remember, we are trying to get x by itself on one side, and that is the left side. And that's why we are getting rid of the 960 on the left. 0.01x is equal to negative 30. 930 minus 960 is negative 30. Now divide both sides by 0.01 negative 0.01. Do the exact same thing on the right, negative 0.01. And the reason why we do that's equal to 1. 1 times x is x. And that should be a positive number. And this is equal to we could just shift the decimal point 2 places to the right, do the exact same thing here, and that's how you get it 3000, or just use your calculator.